that vibe. Join the tribe by feeling your heart, in other words, and living life as if it's a living work of art. And dance your way through it. Notice that you have already anyway, man. You talk about some skillful practitioners in the area of dance. Look at your politicos. This is one thing they're good at. They're good at dancing around things, ain't they, babies? Really good at it. You ask them a very direct question, and you'll get an answer that goes on for 35 minutes and doesn't say a damn thing, man. It's just a dance, you know. Well, we're into a little deeper form of dance than all of that, but it's very similar in that it's every bit as mischievous. You know, they wanted to veil the truth so you couldn't see it and keep themselves in power. Well, little kids have their ways, don't they? Angry little brats sometimes, you know. I want to be boss. Well, there ain't no boss, baby. That's a loss, man. When you're trying to feel like boss, guess what? You're lost. You're over with. You're empty. You know, what makes you compelled into wanting to have control over others, you see? You got to think about that shit. You got to look at it. Contemplate it is probably a better word, because thinking about it just gets you all wound up in worry. And where does that leave you? Nowhere. You can't get out of it. You get stuck in this cycle of worry, and suddenly you're creating all that you're worrying about. You see how your attitude? And if you can just shift it a wee bit and get some gratitude for where you are right now, this may be the place you've been looking for. This may be the space you've always wanted to be in. This may be where you actually live. This may be the fulfillment of all your hopes and dreams and all of those of the generations that came before you. Do you feel them compelling you, these ancestral energies, our ancestors? Do you feel them compelling you forward in the area of the heart? I certainly do. You know, they carried it through, and sometimes that's us doing it too, because we repeat lives a lot. We're in and out, in and out, in and out. We're weaving a beautiful tapestry here, but the force of all of those generations and the flow of it toward the heart, towards the great awakening, is what is influencing us the greatest right now here in this reality as human persons. Simple little powerless human beings, you know, sitting on a hillside saying, oh my God, why can't I do something here? And by doing that, you're doing something great. You're helping humanity get over its frustration by taking it into yourself and dealing with it in a personal way. You see how we do this, kids? And each one of us pulls in some aspect from some part of life and deals with it in a personal sort of way. And ultimately, yes, through our misery and suffering, get peace about it. All of it. We gain understanding. By going through the worst of it, we find the best of it. And in the best of it is the rest of it, the bigger picture, the larger drive, the uniting of the parallel hearts which are not divided anyway. You see, the parallel universe, that's the illusion. Dimensions, that's the illusion. Separations of any sort, that's the illusion. But it's the practice and illusion that brings forward truth. Without lies, you wouldn't know, and deceit and treachery, you wouldn't know truth, peace, love. You got to, what brings us gratitude is going through that attitude and getting ourselves ripened up, sometimes in the worst sort of way. But here's to the pioneers willing to do it. Clink all the way around with our official Coyote Club mug here this morning. By golly. And listen. If you haven't been over, that's a sweet taste of coffee this morning. I am so blessed. We have, these days, it ain't Folgers in the can anymore, babies. Thank goodness for that. This is divine and precious organic coffee. And because of that, it's every bit as precious to me as this Sangre de Cristo sunrise we're seeing here today spreading across this valley we call the San Luis. I hope it's Sangre de Cristo over your way. That means the golden glow of the reddish light of love from which everything is created. The essential color in the rainbow. The center heart, the heart color, you see. Sangre de Cristo, And you had some metaphor, too, in the Cristo part of it. But it's the same thing. It's salvation, baby. Yeah. In a rock and roll sort of way, don't you get it? The more you see the primary light in life, the more you'll see of the essence of life and the love that's in all of it. See, this is what these songs, all of them, even the darker ones, bring to you, is an awareness of the heart, an awareness of the light within you. That's the general tone and genre of them. All of them, whether they're pop rock, whether they come from 1940 or 2015, it don't matter, man. Wherever they're from, they're at just the right moment, because it's this moment and it's there to remind you of your heart. See, Carole King, she did a very good job with that. That little Bend to Canaan and I Want to Go Back Again. Such a simple little tune with just a piano behind it, not too much more, you know. And look what it does for your heart. You see? You're starting to understand multidimensionality, you see, and it's built right into this music we call rock and roll and pop and soul and rhythm and blues. It's built right into it. And country, too. It's built right into it. There's a multidimensionality to the flattest, most tiniest and stupidest of songs, let alone the gracious and auspicious ones that we play here. Dishing up your coyote medicine, dear. Here, it's got it all fluffy. I even got the plates trimmed up today. Looking good, eh? Oh, Chef Coyote in the kitchen of love, man. Tossing up a salad, wouldn't you say? Probably the Italian way, because I'm kind of partial to that, too. But, ooh, once we get away from salad, then I go to Mexico, you know. Ooh, land of rice and beans and all kinds of nice spicy things. We love the Indian way of cooking from down there in the southern climes of the northern part of Turtle Island here, or the southern part of the northern part of Turtle Island here, Mexico. We love that place, don't you know? Ooh, babies, they had a problem with their crop of coffee this year, though. I don't know what it was, but supplies are limited for Mexican coffee. It's darn it. Because I love that stuff, too, speaking of a righteous cup, eh? See, we serve up love the same way, organically, and fair traded, too, man. You know what fair trade means? We share freely and don't expect anything in return. Nothing. But we do have the CoyoteClub.com, where you can go and make a little contribution of one sort or another, remembering that we are listener supported. And also, if you've got a little business that can benefit from some internet exposure here, baby, on the Coyote Medicine Show and on our Coyote Club website, well, babies, you know, I made it easy for you to sign up to be a sponsor here. So get on over there and take a look at some of those other pages. I mean, the CoyoteClub.com, is just as revealing. Even though it seems like a pitch for bucks, it's not really. It's just as revealing as this medicine show is, and even more so because it's a gathering place, don't you know? A central electronic point where we can unite our hearts any time of the day. You need to recharge, get over to Dream Central. You'll get it on the CoyoteClub.com, etc. There's energy built in to those beautiful little graphics and so forth that we use there to convey our essential message. When it says support portal for humanity, that's just what it means, man. And when you need the support, just go there and glance around those pages. I don't think it really matters which page you get on, but it is essential to go to Dream Central, at least as part of your browsing there, you know. But just hanging out there will bring forward a little more essential peaceful love and understanding inside of you. It's the energy of all the people that have been there before and the essential seed that began it. And it's a reflection of how creation works and of how we're re-implanting, re-blossoming ourselves, a whole new crop of human experience coming forward out of the ashes of the past right now. So, babies, it's going to be a blast. You got to hang on. Just let this world die away. Get out of the way and let it happen. You know, and continue to be loving in your heart and growing in that love and seeing it ever more innocently from your true essential person and setting you free of all the nasty things you've ever done. Everything you've ever held against yourself. Oh my God, that was stupid. Oh my God, that was dumb. Well, so what? It's over with now, man. It's back there, you know. I mean, I've been dealing with issues like that right here in my own little life. Times I've been practicing animal cruelty in a dumb way when I was a younger person. Things like that, you know. They haunt you to a point till you start getting peace about it. And you understand sometimes in this life you've been completely out of control and other things have been in control. And there's no blame. You see, it's how it works here, man, you know. We let ourselves be spiritual robots sometimes in order to be spiritual pioneers and get through that crap and get over it so others can get clear too. The controls that have been exercised on humanity for thousands of years now are greatly significant and for the most part greatly ignored here, aren't they? Most people don't even have a clue that their feelings aren't genuine or their thoughts either. Isn't that sad? But it's a beautiful thing in a way, because in their sleepiness, then awakenedness can be seen amongst them. In the darkest part of life, the brightest lights can shine even brighter, right? See, so this is how we've chosen to bring ourselves back again. Amplify the dark, that makes the light shine brighter and makes it obvious and visible, and therefore the path that everyone will choose, because we've already chosen it. As a human collective, as a singular life in every presence that lives all across the universe, and as a conscious presence that lives in everything that is. I know it's a tall formula, and not everybody can swallow it just yet. But those of you living it know exactly what I mean, Jelly Bean, don't you? Now, babies, all we got to do is be all right with what we are in this moment of time. See, whatever happened back there, as dastardly as some of it might be, you're sitting here in a point now where you've learned your lessons, and you've learned them well. You really chose, whether you know it or not now, you really chose an excellent formula by which to live through your darker aspects and find the brighter side of life and the gratitude that goes with it, that then allows you to become this creative person, this divine archangel of love that you are. And every human being is. I don't care if your name's Dick Cheney. I could care less how evil you are, because I don't see evil. I see a heart of gold in everyone that lives. I see a lot of actors playing some pretty serious parts and trying to convey some pretty heavy energies. But I also see human spirits that are out of control, and something else is in control. Cold hearts are not our nature. That's control, people. When you're cold-hearted, when you don't care about others, you're being controlled. You stepped away. You've made absence of your presence inside. You've been manipulated. For real. You're feeling that all that anxiety, that anxious rage that, has got to get laid all the time, that kind of thing, man. You're living in that empty place, and you're being controlled by external energies in another sense. Well, since we're all of creation, it's a game we're playing on ourselves for the purposes of learning our lessons. This is a huge school and playground, this earth and environs, this universe as we see it. But that's exactly what it is a playground, a place to act out our more childish rages and, get off of those pages and get on with, a peaceful, ever-expansive, loving, glowing heart emotion that we call creation. It just chooses to exhibit its place in such grand ways that, wow, all you can do is sit back and say, and how? And let it be, man. See, there you go. That's the Gata right there. Not just let it be, see it for what it is so you can, and enjoy every bit of it. You catching on, John? I thought so. Jungle Jane, ooh, she's here to ease your pain now, baby. She know how, so do you. And Grandpa, too. Stay tuned, man. There's a lot more to go here on the Coyote Medicine Show, don't you know? And don't forget, we are listener-supported in more ways than one. So when you have the time, get over there to the Coyote Club and let's have some fun. TheCoyoteClub.com or TheCoyoteClub.com, as some folks choose to say it. Get your bodies over there, man. It'll be a lot of fun. Keep you on the run. But don't do it while we're on the medicine show here. I don't want you to ignore me, man. I'm kidding. Of course. Babies, we have no remorse. That's the point of right now. In this moment of right now, how can you hold regret? Look at where you are. Look at how you are. Look at how gracious you're becoming. How alive and awake in your love and your own creative love. How empowered you're beginning to feel. And how can you hate or have remorse or regret over anything that's brought you here? We all learn our lessons, sometimes in pretty hard ways. I've told you some of my grittier stories where I fell flat on my face and had to recover. It's part of living, part of growing up, man, Sometimes, we have to go the altered reality, the altered path for a bit just to understand that it don't work. And that's essentially the whole story of humanity for the last billion years. But see, in the beginning we created some inequity here, an anomaly as we call it. But again, for the purpose of experience, practice, growth, tremendous growth, and expansive growth that would lead to a personal experience for all of creation, which didn't seem to be possible before we took this journey. See, we're always in service to the universal heart, and this journey's just part of it that we call life. It's just part of it, man. A small part of it, really, yet it's so essential, because here we hold the rooted energies of the organic. Here we begin the feeling life, which makes it a personal experience for you as a person, and for you as the larger person in everyone. Now we having fun, babies. Now we're getting it on. About time you started singing that song. I'm tired of hearing you sitting there and whine and groan and moan, man. Hell, if I can deal with my situation, you've already dealt with yours and then some. Because I'm a klutz, baby, but a pretty cool one. I like being, whatever I happen to be in this moment of time, it's cool. And I drop it on the floor. Oh, well, I guess I'll do it some more. Clean it up, babies. Let's get on with it, you see? That's the attitude you be in. Just go with the flow, you see. When you've got gratitude, you got the attitude, man. Understand, man. And you got it on. So says Grandpa here with a long, long song on the Coyote Medicine Show, only on the Hazy Radio Network, your morning wake-up call. And, babies, if it ain't so much more, it's only because you ain't listening. Here you go. Oh, I remember when Tanya Tucker and I sat down actually one day, way back in the day when her and George Jones were an item and they were kind of touring together. Hell, I'd talk to this chick every now and then as I see her bus going by. I'd get on the CB and say hi and, wish her well and all that stuff. Well, one day we were out there at the good old Iowa 80 out there. Well, it was called something else back in those days, but the Iowa 80 truck stop, and there that George Jones and Tanya Tucker bus was out there in the parking lot, and there was Tanya Tucker sitting down to have a cup of coffee with us normal, everyday, working class dudes and dudettes, man. And it was awesome, man. We got to share a little humanity back and forth. The one thing I always liked about Tanya Tucker, she had a way about her to communicate with the people. She wasn't afraid of folks, man. She liked to get out there and, rub shoulders with the troops, man, and help us move along in a heartfelt way, and she kept singing that country song, man, that brought up some rock and roll, wouldn't you say? Oh, my goodness, look at the way her and George Jones used to play. I tell you, that was kind of, ooh. That was a War of the Roses if ever there was one. Did you ever see that movie, How to Tear Your Life Apart in Just a Few Simple Steps? Oh, jeez, oh. Well, her and Georgie did that after a while because he just couldn't stay off the bottle. She kept hitting the throttle, and wow, she outran him, man, poor guy. But oh well, he's a talent too, I mean, without Georgie, there wouldn't be me and you because we created that image too, man. In the image of us, everything else is created in the image we want it to be, don't you see? It's all about imagery, man. It's all about what you feel in that imagery. Ain't that the deal? It's all about the heart, man. All about feeling what's real. And that's what this musical deal is, even with Tanya Tucker. That's why sweet people like her, an angel, divine yet, probably going through hell every doggone minute, because that's the price you pay, man. For the great success, you get the worst of it, man. You don't get the best. But you get the best in the surface way, and that's okay. So people think you're high and happy, and you are, especially when you're on stage, because that's the rage, man. That's when the creation exists together. And you feel your audience feels you, and you understand the creative cycle of music as it goes round and round through our hearts, back up stage back to us, It's like this in every aspect of the universe. We create what we see around us. We create our experiences, but not by thinking about it, but by living in it, by loving it, by being that love and letting it manifest for us, trusting our heart enough, in other words, to let it manifest for us that which we really want to see, that which we really want to be, because what we see is what we be. Our creation is us. That's our person surrounding us. All of it. the vast territories of the West, the crowded cities of the East, and everywhere else in between. All of these places, Turtle Island and beyond. We are worldwide here on the Hazy Radio Network, don't you know? HazyRadio.com, we got it on. Especially early in the day when Grandpa's helping you get it underway, wouldn't you say? See, I understand the heart in ways that not everybody could, but yet they can now. Because a few of us made it through the riddle of the heart and found the rhyme in it, you know. Well, darling, now it's time for everybody to get up and dance in the divine. It's like Tanya Tucker's come to sit down and have coffee with you today, man. And all the rest of us too, her and the Coyote Club. Hey, Coyote Clubbers, clink, 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 all the way around. I love you so. So does Tanya Tucker, don't you know? You gotta love classics like that, Delta Dawn. I'll bet Willie Nelson wrote it, though. He wrote everything else. Well, George Jones wrote a lot of songs, too. He did. A lot of our pop and rock came from George Jones. A lot of it came from the, what's that guy? Not Lyle Waggoner. What's his name? Oh, geez, it escapes me for the moment. But one of those old country singers, you'd never suspect he was such a rockin' guy. But he was a total inspiration in the 50s. Hoyt Axton, that was it. Him and his mama wrote some of his songs too, but they were a couple of Oklahomans living down there by Lawton of all places. It's a war zone down there, baby. Stay away. But there they were, writing all them, you know, it's my party and I'll cry if I want to, you know. I mean, that sounds so teenager-ish and everything. That was Hoyt Axton, man. He wrote a lot of the 50s and 60s music, man. Some of the hippie music, too. You'd never know it. Because, boy, when it come to his performances, he was as square as they dare to be, man. You know, he was just as country wanted to be, you know. But, boy, he had a heart and soul that was kind of in disguise, don't you know? Well, does that remind you of anybody like yourself? You know, each one of us has worn our own particular disguises to get us on through so we can manifest the dream without getting wasted in the process, man, you know. We've all had to adapt and adopt to our environment like chameleons, don't you know? And because of that, we've gotten pretty good at it, ain't we, babies? Yeah. There's nothing standing in our way any longer, you see. The riddle was to find the rhyme. And the rhyme's in the riddle, man, don't you see? Just like the answer's always in the question you're asking. Do you love me? You already know. You know? You see? Is there a chance? Oh, darling, there's more than that. It's pure romance. With your own sweetheart. The love you've always dreamed of. All of it. Right there inside. Coming back to life inside of your hide. As you unify. Or see in unification. As we say, the energies of division. See, now it becomes kind of more like multiplication. We don't have to divide it away anymore because we see it centered and rooted right in our solar plexus and on down. I mean, the heart is the source of all living, and everything is living from that heart. That's the essential core that the root taps into, man. You know, that's the Mother Earth and us replicating her energy in our own form, in our own way, right here, right now, in this way, as a human experience. Ain't it beautiful now when you start to understand what we're really all about? It ain't just, you know, rough and tumble and work forever so you can, you know, raise up a few kids in a suburbia paradise. My backside, man. But, you know, babies, we all choose the way we flow. And we all, as I said before, we take on a particular aspect of this creation, some difficult little energy, just for ourselves. Imagine that, man. Now, that means there's at least 7 billion or so replications of those energies and different applications of them. Personally, I feel like there's more like 11 billion people on this planet. Maybe I'm counting in a few that, you know, we don't normally count, you know, dogs and cats and elk and buffalo. Well, there's a hell of a lot more than 11 billion, isn't there? You see, life is huge and vast, and this earth is but a shadowy replication of it. Yet, she's also, as we're beginning to see inside of ourselves in this unity form, the center of creation, the mother from which birth is given, a place in creation for everything, in other words, B-E-R-T-H, place to hang up, you know. So don't worry about what you see going on in the economic reality. It's going to cave in, it has to. It's a stupid idea that there should be more wealth with one person than with another, you see, or that anybody's worth more than anybody else. We come from the same life. We live the mother love. Each of us is that mother love in motion, and therefore we are equitous. You see, we've chosen to see ourselves as divided, and in that division feel the loneliness of the pained heart of creation in the beginning, where it felt alone and had to create because of that. Do you understand the agony of that pain is the blossoming of creation? Without that pain, there would not be creation. There would be a lonely little, you know, Sparky out there floating around in the universe saying, what the hell do I do now? And how? See, oftentimes our force and direction is compelled into us by the darker experience, the pained experience. The untruthful ones, yes, but at the same time, and pain is a lie in itself, yet it's a compulsion to become real, to find a place where there is no more pain. But see, you kind of get addicted to the pain because it is such a great motivator. You've made a lot of changes in your life. I know if you're like me, I like to trick myself into making moves. So I'll take the pain and apply it here and apply it there, and I'll start being uncomfortable where I'm at. So I got a good excuse to move on. Instead of just being honest in my heart and say, well, it's time to flow on, babies. I'll see you around, you know. I know there's another truck somewhere else calling my name, or another heart, another fine feminine form of the angelic love calling me forward, etc., etc. You know what I mean? You know, we would be so much better off, even in this 3D, if we just lived honestly, if we didn't have to lie to each other and, you know, do all this backside kissing that we wind up doing just to please each other, you know. If we really were so in love, if we could see the love in us, if we could live in that love, none of this drama would be necessary. You wouldn't have to be kissing backsides at all. Everybody be kissing yours, start with. Nah, we'd recognize the life. And everyone then is equal in that love, and that's where we need to be. In the meantime, there's all these borders and boundaries we have to, you know, cross. What would we tolerate in our life, what we won't. But babies, we're moving beyond that. We don't even have to think about it. Because the more we allow ourselves to grow in this heart, the more the flow will correct things around us. You know, there is a power in love beyond comprehension, because this is the essence of creation. And it chose a device called pain to help itself realize itself. It chose to put the loneliness in individual human hearts, different aspects of it, that pain, that feeling of separation, so that it could work it out and find itself in fullness and have some gratitude and let go of the attitude that says, I'm alone. You know, the compulsion for creation, the mother heart. She can't help but give birth to creation. Otherwise, there's no point in being at all. That's a mother's love. That's why she's so compelled to birth in children in this life, because it's a shadowy replication of the essential love at the core of the universe and all creation. Mother Earth, Gaia. Hottie that she is, man. You want to know who the real hot chick is here? It's Mother Earth. And everybody in the universe is here acknowledging that. So why don't you? Oh, you don't see that. You don't feel that. Well, son of a gun. How about that? Here's a little dose of it for you, just coming right over the airwaves of, you know, the Rocky Mountain High and floating out to you, girl and guy. See, we know how to bring you back to life. It's real. It's not something you imagine, it's something you feel. And that's what makes it real. And then it becomes an activity in your life, and the feeling begins to lead you. In fact, it's not really leading you at all. It's walking right within your life in this moment and being the motivation for what you create in this moment. And babies, that's peace. peaceful understanding of your own heart. Doesn't get much better than that. And that is life lived as a living work of art. Just the way we always wanted to play it, wouldn't you say? Well, it's a Trippin' Tuesday here on the Coyote Medicine Show. We just tripped you out a little bit more, didn't we? Yes, indeed. Myself included, babies. Ooh, we love you so. It is so good to have you hanging around here in the mornings with Grandpa Coyote and our tribe, man, our Vibe Tribe on the chat room. Hey, we love you so, man. Sorry I'm off and on that page today. My monitor computer went away. I got to get it back today. So then we'll have 2 screens to work on again, and then I'll be able to keep up with the chatter a little better. I'm trying to be a little more consistent this morning. The broadcast side of this thing takes a lot of attention, you know. So, you know, when I'm only working one computer, I have to flash back and forth between the screens. And if you hear a little skip and bump every now and then, it's because I'm overtaxing my machine a bit by doing both of those things at once. But oh well. Life goes on and we sing our heart song, and here we are getting it on in that coyote way. Hey, now listen, you know, we talked yesterday about the potential for a little journey out here in the great Southwest, particularly into the Red Rock country of the Arizona, Utah, Colorado, New Mexican kind of area, the Four Corners area as we call it over here in the US of A. You know, we're talking about getting a little bus, taking a few friends out and visit some magical places, camping out under the stars, or in the bus as the case may be. We're going to get a good one, babies, you know. I'll lease it if I have to. We'll get the Green Tortoise or somebody like that, you know, somebody that's really cool, you know. Or we'll get one of our own as the case may be. Perhaps somebody that owns one will donate a little time and so forth, you know, on that bus. But one way or another, we'll get her done. And this summer, maybe this fall, maybe this spring, I haven't given it a date yet. Keep an eye on the Coyote Club because it'll be there when things start to materialize. And babies, we're going to take the ride of your life. Spend at least a week out there, maybe 2. I think 2's about right. Because we don't want to take you away from your busy life too long, but at the same time, there's some business out here that you really need to get on. So it's time to get on board the bus, the Coyote bus, and let's take a ride sometime this year out here in the magic country of love we call Colorado, yeah, and New Mexico and Arizona and Utah. But we'll be real careful on the Utah side of things. We know they're all virgins over there and uptight about it, you know, so a real regulated society over there. At least it was when I left there, 50, 40 years ago. Who knows what it's like now and how, baby. We're finding it, you see. This is what waking up is. It's just seeing the flow of life and being it, just feeling it, and not resisting it anymore, not holding whatever it is you've held against yourself or others, you know, or both. Whatever it is you've held against this life, it's time you surrendered to it and got on with it, you see. Just to help you along your way, I'm going to share a sacred token of Mary J, because I am Pope Mary Jane herself. Look up the Facebook page if you don't believe me now. Oh, and Rocky Mountain High. That's you and I getting high because we fly as our heart lightens up and our Mother Mary Jane helps us along the way. Ease our pain, give up the heartache, man, by loving our motivation in it, seeing the purity even in our pain. Then we got the great gain. And then we're ready finally to just let it go. And then you can go take a shower and feel good about yourself again, man, you know. Maybe even think about communing with the earth in a hot spring somewhere that's really divine. You'll be led there. They're all over the place here in the West. Some really good ones, too. Sometimes way out in the boondocks, man. Those are all right if you can get to them. Kind of hard this time of year because it's still pretty snowy up here in the mountains. It's going to be for a while yet, you know. It's a Rocky Mountain High. You got to have snow or you can't take off and fly. Without being frozen, you can't realize being thawed out now, can you? See how it works even in the weather. We're gathering together our heart, providing motivation for us to get on with it and get into it. Paradise awaits, baby, and here's old Grandpa Pete right there at the gate, just like always, man, playing the coyote role, because that's my heart and soul. How about yours, don't you know? I'll bet it is. I thought so. Oh, yeah, darling. Here we go with more of the magic medicine of love flowing your way just like it does Monday through Friday here on the Coyote Medicine Show. Ooh, on a tripping Tuesday, don't you know? On the Hazy Radio Network, the source of your love right now, babies. And how?
Reflection.